Hi, it's Orit here. In this video, we're going to talk about how to design a flyer from scratch using PowerPoint. So we're going to look at step-by-step how to go from a blank slide in PowerPoint to a finished flyer project. So you're going to look over my shoulder and see me designing it in action and then come out with the finished flyer product. So this is really great. PowerPoint is actually very flexible as a design program. Most people think it's just a PowerPoint presentation program, but I've designed literally hundreds of workbooks, worksheets, flyers, social media graphics, all kinds of stuff, guides, lead magnets, you name it, using PowerPoint for my clients. I know how to use Photoshop. It's just a fancy design software that most of my clients don't have. So if I'm designing something and you as my client want to be able to change it later, you might not have Photoshop, you might not know how to use it. So this is a really great thing to have when you're designing in PowerPoint, because you'll always have access to the editable file and you can easily go in there and change it at any time and resave it as a PDF or whatever you need. So let's get started. I clicked on the PowerPoint icon on my desktop, and this is the first thing that it opened right here, as you see. What we're going to go to is blank presentation. So we're going to start off with a blank page, and by default it opens up the slide, the first slide. So if I'm designing a flyer, I want to change this size or this slide to the right size that I need. So it really depends what kind of flyer you're printing out. If it's just something simple on a standard letter size page, we can change that right here. If you want to do like a more narrow flyer, just make sure you get the dimensions for that, and you can change the slide size. So that's the first thing we want to do after opening it up. Go to the Design tab, go to Slide Size, and Custom Slide Size. It's like a tongue twister, slide size. So right here is where you're going to change it. So I am going to be designing for my client a standard letter size flyer, and they want a front and back design to this so that they can go and print it out. So I'm going to change it to letter paper, 8.5 by 11. So you can see here you have all sorts of other options. You can even go custom and directly put the size or the dimensions in here. But for my purposes, I'm going to do letter, and I want it to be in portrait mode. So that's where you can change it here. It could be in landscape or portrait. And then I'm going to click on OK. And it doesn't matter which one you select there. I just clicked on Ensure Fit, and there you go. It changed it to portrait, letter size, standard paper here. So we're going to start designing this. So what I first like to do before designing anything is just make sure I have all of my images, my logo, everything on standby all in one place so that I can easily import that as I need onto the flyer. Another thing is I like to have an outline of what I'm going to be doing on each page. So as you can see here, I have all of my images ready to go and my logo. So the first thing you want to probably put on your flyer is a company logo. It really depends what you're creating, right? It could be, I'm assuming if you're creating a flyer, you're marketing something. You're marketing a product, a workshop, an event, a service, your business. For the flyer that I'll be creating today, it's actually a flyer for a fundraising program that a company is offering and wants to let their clients know about. So this is the company, the client here, Theo Chocolates, and I'm going to import the logo onto the PowerPoint file. So you can either just click it and drag it directly onto it, or another way to insert a picture is by going Insert, Pictures, going directly to that folder, and then you can, select whatever from here. And you can easily move things, click and drag things around. You can resize it like so by going to the corners and just, click and dragging. So let's start off with the logo. Import your logo first, and I'm going to make it smaller. And let's just put it at the top center for now. Another cool thing about PowerPoint is you can see I have like those guides that tell me, okay, that's the center, and it kind of snaps into place. If you don't have that as well, you can easily go to Align Center, and it puts that automatically for you right in the center, which is awesome. So company logo is on there. I have all of my images ready to go. Remember I mentioned having an outline of what you want to put on each page. That is a great thing to do. So first of all, in point form, make an outline of what you want to have on your flyer. So I already created that. I'm going to paste that on here so I can always see it. So I have a brief outline of what I want to have on the front of the flyer and just in point form, and what I want to have on the back. So we have our logo on here, and probably a nice big picture at the top would be good, because we're going to be putting some, the website, some short blurbs. So I'm going to import a nice picture for here. So let's go Insert, Pictures, and let's see if something like this would work. So I'm going to click it, drag it, make it a lot bigger. Now you see here when it imported it, it came on top of the logo. If we want to move it to the back, you can just right click and go Send to Back, so that you have that on the very back. So I'm going to click and drag that, and you see now the logo is on top, and I can move that into place as well. So I'm going to click on the image. Let's just make it really big and see what happens from here. So logo at the top left. Now I probably want to add a heading of some sort saying, let us help you raise funds, or something like that, that instantly lets people know what this flyer is about. So you can already see here by default they have like a title text box for you and a subtitle text box. You can also add another text box if you want by going to Insert, Text Box, and then just click and drag. But since these are already ready here, let's just click onto that and start typing. So let's just write something like, let us help you raise funds. And I want this to be in all capitals, so I'm going to highlight that, go to this little icon over here, and you can change it. You can make it all lowercase, capitalize each word, all uppercase. So I'm going to go all uppercase, and let's choose a different font. Let's do, right here is where you can select a whole bunch of fonts. You can go through it. I'm going to choose Lato. It's in alphabetical order here. So, and the cool thing is you can also hover over it and see what each one looks like. Let's go with Lato. So let's say I want to add a little bit of spacing in between each letter. I can go right here and choose from a variety of options. It can go very tight, loose, very loose, and you can see how it changes there. You can also completely customize it by adding the spacing here, for example. So let's just choose loose for now. And I'm going to need to reduce the size of this, or I can also keep it actually. See, this is the thing. You're gonna be mostly I think the most difficult part about creating a flyer on your own or anything is just making those creative choices. That's what's going to take you the most amount of time. But if you have a super user-friendly tool to use like PowerPoint already installed on your computer, it just makes it so simple. So let's just reduce the size of this to, let's make it 40 for now. And you can see here, because the nature of the image in the background, it's kind of busy on this side here. I can either change, oops, let's just undo that. You can always undo by going Control Z on a PC. It's probably different on a Mac. But what I was saying is that you can modify the color of the text as well. You can go here and choose from a bunch of different colors and see what looks best. But a cool little trick to help you make either black or white text stand out on here is by creating an overlay, and I'll show you how to do that. So to create that overlay behind the text so that the text stands out on a busy background, such as this, go to Insert, Shapes, and I'm going to select this rectangle. You have so many shapes to choose from, which you can play with, or you can play around with, but let's go to Rectangle. I'm going to click and drag to create the rectangle on my page. And then I can choose what color background I want this piece to have. Now, I'm just going to choose white for now, and you'll see why. I'm also going to, right now it has a blue outline around the shape, so I'm going to tell it no outline. I don't want the outline. And I'm going to move this text to the very top, to the front, so that it sits on top of that shape. So I'm going to right click, bring to front, and then move that back. All right, so now to create the overlay, we just need to adjust the opacity or transparency of this shape. And to do that, you right click, go to Format Shape, and then Fill. And from here, you'll see the option Transparency. So you can see as I'm adjusting it, it will become more or less transparent. So this is really cool because you can play around with it. I can change the color as well to, let's just say black, and create like a black overlay, which means that it will probably be best to change the text to white. So I can do that, and it kind of helps it stand out a little bit more, although it looks like I might need to make it less transparent to stand out even more. So something like that. And you can see it's coming along. We can now move on to maybe adding some more text on the bottom here. I'll probably want to add a nice big block, like another rectangle, and then put some text on top of that. So remember how to create a shape. You go Insert, Shape, the rectangle option, and then click and drag. So I'm going to change the color, the background color of this shape now. So I'm going to go to Format, and then I have a color sampled here, which, by the way, if you see a color on this image or anything like that that you want to sample, like let's say, for example, I wanted to make this rectangle this yellow color, then I can do that. I can click on the shape, go to Format, Shape Fill, and use the eyedropper here to select that color. So let's say it's this darker yellow that I want here. When I click on that, it'll automatically change the background color of that shape. So another really cool thing. And it'll save that color that I just sampled in my recent colors, so I can always come back to it and use it. So let's go back to that blue, and again, I don't want an outline. Now I have on here that I want to put the website, a space for a short blurb about the business, and a space that calls out how much profit they'll receive from fundraising with Theo chocolate products. So let's put the website down here below. I'm going to adjust the sizing, oops, and just move that into place. And I'm going to put some text on here. So if I want to put text on a shape that's already created, I don't need to go and insert a text box. I can actually double click directly on that shape and this is a cool thing to show you. It actually got flipped around, so I can actually rotate that back to where it's supposed to go. So I can double click on that and go theochocolate.com. Again, highlight all of that. Let's go back to the Lato. I'm going to click enter, make it the loose format. And the size is okay for now. Maybe we need to make it that brown, this brown color from Theo's logo. So I'm going to use the eyedropper, grab that brown color so that it's easier to see against the blue. Now let's add that short little blurb about the company. So I can use this text box that they already have here for me. Let's just pretend that I have, so text about who we are, about the business. I'm actually creating a template for the business so that they can go ahead and adjust whatever text they need on the flyer and just keep reusing it. So I put that text in there. I can now move this text box into place. Probably want to have it around here, or actually on the bottom would be best, because here we can talk about the profit margins that they'll receive, which is going to receive more, should receive more attention. So I'm going to put the text below here, just make that bigger for now. And I'm going to center this. So again, I can click and drag to kind of have it snap into place, or I can go to arrange, align, center. And I can also center it a bit lower here. So this is in Calibri font. I'm gonna change it to Lato. And this is a recently used font, so I'm gonna click that. I'm not gonna change the spacing of it. For now, it can just remain as is, but let's just make it smaller. So maybe about there, size 14. And we can just pretend like there's a few lines here of text, like so. You see how there's spacing in between the lines? If you don't want that spacing, you can also adjust the spacing between the lines. And you do that by clicking on the text box, and here is the size of like how much space you want between the lines. So I like to go to 1, so no spacing, and line spacing options. All of this should be 0 if you don't want absolutely any space. So we can put that down to 0, go OK, and there you go. So that's about the business. Now, last thing to put on this first page or on the front page is something that says your cause receives 40% of the total sales. So let's just highlight that. I'm going to get that cut, go Control X to cut that, and then Control V to paste it back here separately. Again, change it to the font that you want. And let's capitalize that first letter. Center, I want to align the text centered, like so. This is over here is where you can change the alignment of it. So let's stick with centered. And I do want spacing in between here. So let's go to 1.5. And play around with the size here. Get more excited about that statement. I think there's some improvement that can be made here. So this image in the back, it has more of a gray vibe to it. Their website is very clean in terms of design. So there's white, brown, and blues. So I want to make it that clean vibe here. And there's a lot happening. So what I actually want to do is create a white transparency on top of this entire image so it lightens the image up. So remember how to change the transparency. Let's go to Format Shape and we can play around with that. And I'm going to change the shape fill to white and see how that instantly, I'll show you what, so this is a transparency, the white on top, but with it on top, it just makes it a lot more cleaner, which is really nice. I'm noticing that our logo is behind the transparency and we want it to be on front. So I'm just going to move that out of the way, click on the logo, go to bring to front, and this text is also in front, which is good. And then put that back into place. And this way I can change the color of this text here, maybe to brown, black. Let's stick with the brown since those are their colors, but it probably needs to be a little bit more bold so it stands out. So I can either go click on bold here, or I can choose, I know Lato black is a lot thicker, so let's go there. And other ways to make text stand out on top of images besides the transparency way is you can also add outlines to the text. So you can have the letters outlined in a certain color. You can have a shadow. I'll show you how to do that. You select all of the text, go to Format, and then you can play around with it here. So text outline. You can see if I want like a white outline, I can click on the white color. I can also adjust the sizing of how thick that outline is. So you can see what it looks like as I'm hovering over the different size of thickness. I can also go to text effects and choose a sort of shadow. Like you can see here, sometimes it helps to kind of bring out the text more. You can also choose a glow. So if I wanted the text to glow, I can also adjust the color of the glow. So if I wanted a white glow, I can just go here, and I can also adjust the strength of that glow. So go to glow options and then go to size, and it can sort of brighten it up a little bit more. So that's one way to adjust how to make text stand out a little bit more against an image. So this is looking much better so far than what we had before. I need to do something with this because this looks plain Jane over here. So let's maybe create, it's kind of like a statement. So let's do, oh, I keep moving this. Let's put that back. Let's put this on top of a shape that will be this color. So by the way, if you want to copy shapes, I know that I want to create a shape, a square perhaps, in this same color, then I don't need to go to insert, create the new shape, change the color. I can just click on this one, go copy, and then right click again, go paste, and then it'll paste that same block for me. I just need to delete that. So I can adjust it accordingly. Let's do maybe like, see what this looks like, having a little block here. And then I want the text to stand on top. So right click, bring to front. You'll be using the same features over and over again the more times you do this. So it will be just second nature to you because you'll just keep using them. And let's maybe make this white and bold and just highlight certain things. So 40% of total sales, that's important. So let's make that brown. Something like that, right? You can play around with it. I can make this this square instead of a square. I can maybe see what it looks like as a circle, and I can go to edit shape, make sure it's selected, and then go to format, edit shape, change shape, and I can try this, see what it looks like as a circle. and adjust it accordingly that way. So I'm going to spend a little bit more time on this page just to make it look a little bit better, and then we're going to come back and I'm going to show you how to save this as a PDF so you can go and print it. Okay, I'm just going to pause here and show you how to create an outline or some sort of line or box around a set of text. If that's something you want to do, you can go to Insert and you're going to create a rectangle shape just like we did before, but this time you're going to select No Fill, and then you're just going to select the fill color of the outline itself. So I want to create that blue outline, so I selected my color, and then I also want to adjust the weight a little bit, and just to see what that looks like, you can kind of play around with that, and I'm going to align it center. And that's how you create, I'm not sure I like that for this flyer, but that's how you create an outlined box around text. Sometimes it looks really good, but I'm going to delete that one. Hit delete on my keyboard. So this is what I have so far for the first page of our flyer. I do have another page to design for the back of the flyer, which my client will be printing out a front and back. If you are doing the same thing, you will need to create another page, and to do that you just go into this slide pane over here, right click and select new slide, and then you'll have a new slide come up. If you wanted to keep sort of the same formatting of the first page that you did, then you can right click that, go to duplicate slide, and then if I want to delete this, I can right click, go delete. And then this way you have the same formatting. So let's say, for example, on the front and back of this flyer, I want this to stay the same and this over here. So all I have to do now on the second page is just click, drag all of this. It's going to select everything that I've selected there, and then hit delete on my keyboard. You can also delete this right here. And then all I need to do is just design this top part here of the back of the flyer. So when you go to save this as a PDF, it'll be a 2-page PDF document, and that's what you'll need to go ahead and give it to your printer or to upload it onto Vistaprint in order for them to print your flyer. So let's just say I've completed the back page here. You just need to go to File, Save As, Browse, select somewhere on your computer to save, and you can adjust the title here. Let's go flyer, and right now it's set to PowerPoint presentation, so this is the editable file. I definitely want to save that, so I'm going to save that. That is the editable file. If I always need to come back to redesign something, change anything, I need to go to that PowerPoint file. But I want to save it again, save as, go back to browse. I'm already in the folder I want, so I'm going to go to where it says save as type, click on that, go to PDF. So this will PDF the flyer that you just created, and you can select open file after publishing. So when you save it, it will open the PDF and we can see what it looks like. So I'm going to zoom out here. Oops, battery's running low. So this is what it looks like so far. So we have that first page. That's what the first page of the flyer will look like. Then you scroll down and the second page will look better than this, but it will have something else on it. So there you go, guys. I hope this has provided some sort of basic tutorial for you, how to import the text, the images, how to place certain things and make text stand out. This is a good starting point if you are creating your own flyer. And if you do need help, I'm always here to help. I've designed hundreds of media assets for both print and digital for my clients. So just click on the link below in the description. I'll put that there for you if you do need some extra help, and I'd be happy to assist. All right, guys, let me know if you have any questions as well. Leave it in the comments below so I can be sure to create more of these PowerPoint tutorials for you. I do have more planned, like how to create a workbook, how to create a bunch of other things, like a lead magnet, all that kind of stuff. So I do have those planned. If you are interested in seeing more tutorials on how to design documents using PowerPoint, be sure to subscribe to the channel so you can stay updated. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.